Good afternoon and welcome to NewsBeat Live on Metro TV from our studio here at Rage in Accra. Welcome to live here. This is the Kuya Boahima studio live on DSTV channel 277, live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana, same handle on YouTube and on Twitter at Metro TV GH. I am Bright Nanakosi. Coming up in the next 60 minutes. The Inspector General of Police, James Opombuenu, responds to critics who, among others, have called for his removal and for a structural reformation of police service following growing insecurity and incidents of violent crimes. Managing editor of the Inside newspaper calls for evidence of correspondence providing health minister's justification for purchasing overpriced COVID-19 vaccines. And on the occasion to mark Day of the African Child, Ghana, together with other African countries, commit to accelerate the implementation of Agenda 2040 for the Africa Fit for Children 30 years after the adoption of the Charter. In business, Minister for Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoko-Prempeh, swears in a 3-member interim management committee to oversee the affairs of the Tema Oil Refinery following the removal of its managing director and his deputy. In news from elsewhere, Ethiopia rejects an Arab League resolution calling on the United Nations Security Council to intervene in a lingering dispute between Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia over a massive dam Addis Ababa is building on the Blue Nile. Thanks for joining us. We also give you news in sports and also in showbiz. Now, first in the news, the Inspector General of Police has placed a 20,000 Ghana cedis reward for anyone who will volunteer information that will lead to the arrest of persons who shot and killed a police officer and a 40-year-old mother of 3 in a bullion van robbery.
The police continue to encourage the public to be on the lookout for the perpetrators of the heinous crime that occurred at Jamestown, Accra. The Inspector General of Police has announced a reward of 20,000 Ghana cedis to any person who gives credible information to police for the arrest of the perpetrators. And in this regard, we assure informants of the utmost protection of their identities.
Let's just stay at the office of the Inspector General of Police. So the IGP, James Opombuenu, has responded to critics who, among others, have called for his removal and structural reformation of the police service following growing insecurity and incidents of violent crimes. Now, the IGP indicated that what pertains in the country currently reflects growing insecurity challenges within the West African sub-region, and efforts are being made to address it. So before the IGP, though, here is what security analyst Adam Bona said on Metro News earlier.
Well, what has happened probably was always going to happen. We are seeing this to be a bit different because of the way it happened and where it took place. But mind you, people have been dying since the beginning of this year. And so mine is that once we don't fix the current challenging security, call it persons, those who are supposed to be protecting us. If we don't fix the structural challenges we have at the moment within the security sector, the situation is going to get worse. Persons like the IGP should be relieved of their position.
Let's now hear from the Inspector General of Police, James Opombuenu, on the call for a structural reformation of the police service.
Anybody who says that doesn't know what he's saying. You understand? Every society has its own issues, has its own crimes. Whoever says that we are out of touch with the system or with the society is not studying the topography of the West African sub-region as of now. Anybody or any security analysis worth the salt will know that the West African sub-region is currently experiencing a high wave of crime. in all the countries. If you compare all the countries, there's a high wave of crime. It doesn't mean that we should fold our arms and say that we'll not do anything. We are definitely doing what we can to protect Ghanaians.
Still on matters of security, former Chief of Defense Staff Brigadier General Joseph Nunumensa has predicted that Ghana would soon suffer anarchy considering the way security challenges are being handled. In an interview with Metro TV's Annie Efua Ampofo, the former Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghanaian Forces bemoaned the manner in which unexperienced party foot soldiers have infiltrated Ghana's security installations.
I can see that we are going to be hungry. You don't need to be a magician or be a prophet. You can see it coming. But do our leaders understand that they have to sit up and think into the future, prepare for the future? No. Otherwise, what we can. So this to me is why the problem we have is serious. Because if today, in Ghana, when I was growing up, honey, my father's house, the door was never locked. It was never locked. He never reported of any stealing in his house. Today, people are killing you to steal from you. We are getting a new Ghanaian. The new Ghanaian, you have to understand him. And I think mainly because we don't have politicians who understand the new Ghanaian. You have many young people going to school free, education free. We are okay about it with education. Nothing to do with education. And they're frustrated. So we need to sit up as a people and look at the needs of our society. The young people especially. At my age, how many more years have I got to live on this planet? But if we are a young man, 25, 30, 35, some of our prime ministers, leaders in Europe at that age, Prime Minister of Finland, I think 35 years old, Macron, yes, he was 39. Today, young people are 39. They don't think about how to manage the country. They think about how to get a car and zoom around. So, what is happening in Ghana is an eye-opener. It's a wake-up call that we should wake up because we are heading towards chaos if we don't take care.
So away from matters of security, let's now do some health stories. As managing editor of the Insight newspaper, Kwesi Pratt is demanding the Ministry of Health shows evidence of correspondence which necessitated the purchase of Sputnik V vaccines at a cost of $19 instead of $10 from middlemen. We will hear from Kwesi Pratt, but first here is the Health Minister, Kweku Agyemang-Manu, justifying government's procurement of Sputnik V vaccines despite concerns about the cost involved.
I can't be subjected to ridicule. Basic economics, right, has two parameters to decide on pricing: demand and supply. At the time that we signed this agreement, FDA has approved of only two vaccines, AstraZeneca and Sputnik. COVAX has indicated to us that all our deliveries that were going to come after the first drop will be delayed until June, July, because India has banned exports.
That meant many people
So there was nothing coming from there. The African Medicine Supply Platform, we had registered with them. The one they were allocating to us, Johnson & Johnson, had not been released, registered in Ghana, not even elsewhere in the world. And they couldn't give us nothing. The indication was until August. So we didn't have much options to swim around. We had to go for Sputnik. We invited the Deputy Ambassador of Russia to the President's office. He couldn't tell us any significant thing. I was directed to write to the Trade Minister in Russia, the Foreign Minister in Russia, all those who mattered in this issue. Our direct contact with RDIF yielded no results. So we didn't have options than to go through middlemen, when we have said right from beginning that we wouldn't use middlemen in trying to procure vaccines. There was pressure back home that the president should make efforts to procure vaccines. You should rely only on the COVAX grant that was coming. What could you have done? We sat down with them, did a lot of negotiations. We agreed on $19. We signed the agreement, right? We were supposed to do LC for the first delivery schedule. Even that, they were not going to supply the 3.4 million at a go. They gave us a schedule of 300,000, then 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, spread up to June from April. We are not very comfortable with that. Our LC delayed for some reasons. When it got to them and it was confirmed, they sent us a message that they had run out of stocks. And up to I speak, they haven't been able to drop one single dose. What wrong have I committed? There are several other things I should have gone through. But emergency, where people are dying, the disease is spreading, and we have found an antidote to vaccinate. And the president has promised Ghanaians that will protect the nation through the vaccination. What else could I have done?
That is the Minister for Health, Kweku Agyemang, justifying government procurement of Sputnik V. So let's now hear from the managing editor of the Inside newspaper, Kwesi Pratt, urging the Health Minister to provide evidence of letters written to the Russian government before arriving at a decision to purchase the vaccines from middlemen.
We are lucky, okay? Ghana's president is president of ECOWAS. You understand? Communicators of government and of the ruling party tell us how great our president is in international circles. They even tell us that he's a personal friend of President Macron and so on. And yet he can't pick the phone and call Vladimir Putin and tell him that, my brother, I need help. I want your vaccine. So what is the president using all the influence that we claim he has for? If he can't call Vladimir Putin. If his counterpart, Uhuru Kenyatta, can do that, why can't he do that? Kenya is receiving Sputnik V from Russia, direct, government-to-government negotiations. Kenya is receiving it. At a price that I suspect may even be below $10.
The health minister said
so
he took he said he took the deputy ambassador.
There's no deputy ambassador.
I'm sure he's referring to the deputy head of mission. That he took him to the presidency. He didn't say the president, the office of the president. There was nothing the person could do for them. And that he was asked to write to the Russian foreign ministry or something. He did. Nothing happened. He made overtures to FDA, ID. Nothing happened.
Let them show us the correspondence.
What else could he
Let them show us the correspondence. Because we know that there was one letter.
Yes.
We know that there was one letter.
29th of April.
Of course, 29th of April, one letter which declared Ghana's intention to buy Sputnik V. After that, there was no correspondence.
And so that was on Good Morning Ghana, hosted by Dr. Randy Abe. You're still watching NewsBeat Live here on Metro TV. Equatorial back.
As a mother and wife, my priority is making sure my family is protected at all times. That is why I never forget to give my angel a Flora disposable handkerchief to keep germs and sweat at bay. When hubby is out in the fields, I'm rest assured of Flora coming in handy anytime he needs it. Even when my daughter Na is out late, I am confident Flora disposable handkerchief will be close enough to save the moment. Flora disposable handkerchiefs are my go-to disposable handkerchiefs any day, anytime, and everywhere. Flora disposable handkerchiefs is affordable and handy. Flora, better than cloth handkerchiefs. Flora is a product of Delta Paper Mill Limited. For inquiries and bulk purchases, call 0243 033 033.
Blood gives life. Blood is very important. Let's donate blood to save lives. On Saturday, June 19th, 2021, Metro TV, Original TV, and Original FM humbly invite you to be part of blood donation exercise at the premises of Metro TV, close to Alisa Hotel on Dr. Isert Street at North Ridge in Accra. The exercise will start at 7 o'clock in the morning. It is in commemoration of the World Blood Donation Day. Join us Save Lives as we donate blood for the Blood Bank. This exercise is in partnership with Blue Skies, Pharma Nova, manufacturers of 3 First Serum, #1 builder of blood cells.
There's a place for people like you.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Still here on NewsBeat. The Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice is calling on government and other stakeholders to redouble their effort in ending the phenomenon of child early and forced marriage. This comes on the back of the celebration of this year's Day of African Child. Here is a News Desk report.
The Day of the African Child has been celebrated on June 16 every year since 1991, when it was first initiated by the Organization of African Unity. It honors those who participated in the Soweto Uprising in 1976. It also raises awareness of the continuing need for improvement of the education provided to African children. In Soweto, South Africa, on June 16, 1976, about 10,000 black school children marched in a column more than half a mile long, protesting the poor quality of their education and demanding their right to be taught in their own language. The theme for the African Child Day 2021 is 30 years after the adoption of the Charter. Accelerate the implementation of Agenda 2040 for an Africa fit for children. This year, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, in a statement to commemorate the day, is focusing on the challenge of early and forced child marriage. According to them, the practice do not only violate the rights of children, but also create an insidious state of dependency and intergenerational cycle of vulnerability for the affected children. The Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition has also on this occasion called on all key stakeholders in the education sector to get on board in complementing the effort of the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service to address the pending challenges in schools that would ensure that no child is left behind towards the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goal 4 targets.
So a happy African Child Day to every African child out there. Away from that, residents including parents and teachers in the Mofrafa community whose children over 80 risk drowning for crossing a dilapidated bridge each day have expressed excitement about a promise to construct a bridge for the community in record time. Municipal Chief Executive of the Salom and Wejuri Assembly, Isaac Boabin, says a temporary bridge will be completed in a week, while a lasting major one is completed by the end of 2021. Metro News' Gabriel Ni Obudai Tobo Atopra Tonamashon brings us more on this report.
On our inspection, if you realize that we have to group it in phases. The first phase is to provide them with a temporary structure, more or less a walkway with guide rails and handrails to protect the children and the other users. From there,
this is going to be the immediate step or action you are taking. When will this be done?
Oh, God willing, in just 1 week time, we have to complete this temporary structure for them.
So, what are the timelines?
So after the temporary structure or walkway, as my engineer said, we are going to do the dredging or the setting, and then after we do the main construction. But looking at the plight of the children, we have to do something as early as possible for them to walk freely without any fear to school. The point in time, let's say within 5 months frame, you come and see a green light of this situation.
I'm very grateful for their coming. In fact, I'm very happy this morning because this is a good step. I know with all that they've said, very soon we'll see a change here. So MC, Chief Engineer, thank you very much. We pray that the report will come as expected, and also the necessary actions will be taken as soon as possible. We are in the raining season, and that's our fear now. But I'm glad, I'm happy that you've come to assess the situation, and I'm hopeful that very soon we will see something great. Thank you very much.
I'm happy to see them this morning, that they are here. God richly bless them. I'm praying that sooner or later we will construct this bridge for them to come to school successfully.
I thank everybody for your efforts, and we are hoping for a satisfactory result.
Results gained by Metro TV's Gabriel Ni Obudai Toba shown after filing a story about a bridge in Nsawam. We'll give you more of that as and when the stories unfold. Now, let's go back to the Ministry of Health. And the Minister of Health, Kweku Agyemang-Manu, has called on Ghanaians who have not received their second COVID-19 vaccine jab to remain calm as government is working to secure more vaccines by mid-July. Explained the delay has been caused by unavailability of vaccines on the market. He said there is scientific data that prove one is still protected from the virus, even when the second jab for the vaccine delays than the stipulated time. The Minister of Health also gave other update on the country's COVID-19 situation as of June 15, 2021.
From March last year to this time, 15th of June, it's around 94,619. Total tests reported. We have done 1.2 million, a little over that, tests, including the test at Kotoka International Airport. Our positivity rate, we used to have 10 sometime last year. Despite our second wave, our positivity rate is now 7.8%. Total deaths, however, is quite big, 789. Those of us who have not had our second dose yet, there is a lot of hope. We have indications that is giving us hope for the very near future. We are expecting vaccines from the US. We've got a promise from the UK to try to help us get our second dose go through very quickly. The numbers are just about what will give us the gap that we have with the second dose. The exact date that is coming, we don't know, but we anticipate this late June, early July, these things will happen. Science is now telling us, I've told you several times, that this disease continues to manifest itself against all scientific thinking. Today it is this, tomorrow it is that. That is how this virus is treating scientists on the globe. Now they are telling us that even if you don't get it within the 8 to 12 weeks, you get even better protected if the time span between your first and second jab is a little bit expanded. So we shouldn't get too worried. If you have the first dose and you haven't got the second dose within the 12 weeks, you're still going to be protected until we give you the second dose. But that will not be longer. That will not be longer at all. So there is hope. And let me assure you that government is working in all fronts to try to find the vaccines to do the vaccinations for those who haven't had the second jab, and then start with new vaccinations for the first dose. In the instance of vaccine availability, we are not careful. Vaccine hesitancy that we thought had reduced might begin to come up again. So we need to do a lot of education in that area.
Still on NewsBeat, the nationwide strike by the Technical Universities Teachers Association of Ghana, TUTAG, is in its third day. Meetings with the Employment and Education Ministries and other stakeholders have been described as fruitful and reassuring by the association, with negotiations set to start on the 29th of June 2021. And the latest on this is that a meeting between TUTAG and the National Labour Commission is currently ongoing, and we'll give you details of that in a subsequent news bulletin. But away from that, the National Communications Authority and the National Media Commission have signed a memorandum of cooperation to collaborate to regulate contents of broadcast media organizations to sanitize the broadcast landscape in the country. Now, the memorandum is a mechanism by which the two state agencies will work together to address the challenges of unwholesome broadcast content on radio and television in the country to improve the broadcast space.
The signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the National Communications Authority and the National Media Commission is to, among others, to sanitize, regulate, and as well as sanction radio and television stations who churn out unwholesome content. Director General of the NCA, Joe Anoche, and the Executive Secretary of the NMC, George Sapon, signed for their respective institutions. Present was the Minister of Information, Kojo Opon Nkrumah, and the Chairman of the NMC, Yao Boedu Ayeboafo.
So the key here is, if we work collaboratively together, then the Media Commission, knowing that content is not what it's supposed to be, can work with NCA based on the law that empowers NCA to be able to apply the necessary sanctions. So we at NCA, our doors are open. As the Secretary said, we've made this facility available. We've also said that the broadcast monitoring system that we have installed, we've made it available to the Media Commission. In fact, I think there have been a couple of times that they've reached out to us for data, which we have provided.
Yao Boedu Ayeboafo urged journalists to ensure that the average Ghanaian was protected from misinformation to build public confidence and trust in the media.
Self-regulation is the most effective means of regulating. And when Ghanaian media come to that understanding that we cannot just do the wrong thing and say, go to court if you want. I mean, any journalist who says that they will do the wrong thing and tell you that you should go to court, I think that they do not know why they are in the media, because they do not have a role at all to play. And I hope that in talking to everybody, my primary interest is the journalist, him or herself. That when we begin to do what is right, nobody can tell us what is wrong, because we will understand our profession better than any other person.
The Minister of Information, Kojo Opon Nkrumah, urged the NCA and the NMC to implement agreements of the cooperation to address infractions and sanitize the broadcast airspace.
Section 3D of the NCA Act empowers the NCA to collaborate with the NMC in taking action. And Section 10 of the NMC Act empowers the NMC to bring on board other actors other than NMC officials to collaborate in terms of their work. Our expectation is that this will not just be a perfunctory signing ceremony or perfunctory framework, but you actually put this committee in place and have some regular meetings, be they monthly, quarterly, or what have you, and then have your necessary emergency meetings to deal with specific emerging issues that may be coming up.
Some of the key signatories were Roland Alfel Moni, President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Gloria Heaji, Executive Secretary, Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, Colonel Agri Kwashi, Director, Public Relations, Ghana Armed Forces, and Suleimana Brahma, Executive Director, Media Foundation for West Africa.
Let's now go to Teba, and it has become one of the most beautiful communities in the Tema West Municipality. Yet, residents of Celebrity Hill have never paid property rate to government because the beautifully planned residential area is being occupied illegally. Metro News' Samuel Asamoah has been speaking to residents who are calling on government to legalize their settlements so as to generate revenue.
Over the years, this particular Ramsey site in the Tema West Municipality has seen lots of encroachment. There have been major infrastructural setups with an ongoing reclamation of the lagoon within the Ramsey site by some estate developers. The Celebrity Hills community, located within the Ramsey site, is currently a complete community with good roads and other amenities put up by the residents. The residents here are now calling on government to consider them legal residents.
When I've started my project, I have an invoice from TWMA. Later on, when we wanted to pay, they said we should hold on with payment. They have to resolve issues with other stakeholders. You understand? So that's the challenge. So we feel government is equally losing a lot of money because a lot of properties are here. If they are in, we should be able to generate more revenue to do a lot of things. But they are not forthcoming. We want to pay because we've approached them on a lot of occasions that we are willing to pay, but they are not forthcoming.
We are just pleading with the authorities, we are pleading with the Forestry Commission, the TWMA, the government to look at these issues, our concerns, and then come to the round table, which we've always been asking for, to create a buffer. We, the residents, are even ready to plant danger trees or poles to identify the end of the hardcore areas so that nobody goes beyond that. So we are just pleading with them to come to our aid, and then we resolve this issue once and for all.
Kwesi Pokubusumpem is the assemblyman for the area.
We are pleading with central government to come here and hold the bull by the horn. Tell us what we want to do. Laws are made for human beings. laws can be reversed. There was a criminal library law once upon a time. It was repealed. We have over 3,000 properties here. Are we ready to put 3,000 properties down? That's the question. Do we have that kind of political will to do that? But those that are on the waterways and the areas that will create problem, for that one, as assembly member, I'm for it. I'm pleading to central government, the regional minister, the showman. So at least let us all start joining. Let's start talking. Let's start know what we can do to bring sanity to this place.
As part of a nationwide tree planting exercise, the residents have also started planting trees in the area to make up for the lost vegetative cover.
We're live on DSTV, channel 277, live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana. Same handle on YouTube. We'll be back from the break with more.
In Ghana and in Africa, there is only one place to look to get that luxurious design and decor for your offices and homes. Visit Jamila Home. We give you the climax of luxury wherever you find yourself. Presidential and executive office furniture, living room sets, dining set, stunning mirrors, adorable wallpapers, lovely king and queen size beds, valuable antiques and antique goods, beautiful chandeliers and more. Into the bargain, we provide caring customer service, prompt delivery service, skilled and artistic full house design and decor services, and free decor ideas for your space. Our products and service is unparalleled, boasting of top-tier clients all over the globe. Jamila Home, home of first-class quality furniture, beautiful chandeliers, and antiques.
UPPR Ghana Limited is a premium plastic recycling champion. Our flagship products include the 240-liter window and flat cover waste bins, the 120-liter window and flat cover waste bins, 60-liter waste bin with flat cover, Superior Ohima buckets available in 20 liters, 80 liters and 100 liters for your health and safety. Don't miss out on a super top quality ADEPA range of bin liners. Choose your preferred vibrant colors and sizes. UPPR is at your service. We manufacture for different levels and for your needs too. Locate us at Boteman near the Snit Affordable Estate in Accra, Kumasi in the old Jute Mills office in Ahensan, in Tamale near Lamashegu Market, Sales Points, Zoom Lionhead office, JA Plant Pool, Jawolo Junction, or contact us on 0577 702 155. UPPR, we recycle to add value. It's about your health and safety.
Welcome back. And now, the Minister of Defense, Dominic Nitwu, says the recent use of the rented aircraft for President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo's foreign trip was born out of need to ensure safety and convenience of the president due to COVID-19 pandemic surge in Europe. He also stresses that the president had to travel with a business delegation, which may not have been possible with the presidential jet. So now the minister was reacting to an urgent question by MP for North Tong constituency Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, who alleges that the president's decision to rent an Airbus ACJ320 for his official trip to South Africa, France and Belgium cost the taxpayer some 2.8 million Ghana City. We'll give you more of this in subsequent news bulletin. But for now, business is next, and Winston Nitaki is here with all.
Thank you, Bright. This is Business on NewsBeat. My name is Winston Taki. I'll bring you updates on the stock market as well as the commodity prices across the world. Now, Now to our first business story. The Ghana Association of Bankers has assured the general public of its resolve to work with the national security apparatus to ensure safety and protection for its staff, members and customers. It also said that the GAB assured that it will express it in a press release dated June 15, 2021 on the back of the recent crash that has to do with the death of a police Lance Corporal Emmanuel Say of the National SWAT unit.
The Ghana Association of Bankers says it is saddened by Monday's bullion van robbery incident at Jamestown in Accra that led to the deaths of a police officer and a trader. In the wake of the incident, the Inspector General of Police has served notice that the police service will withdraw escort services to substandard bullion vans if the banks do not provide armored vans by the end of June. According to the association, the incident is a tragic one that calls for serious reforms. In a statement, the association consoled the bereaved families, the police administration, and others who have in one way or the other been affected by the tragedy. The group admitted that it has had interactions with the top hierarchy of national security, the Inspector General of Police, the management of the Bank of Ghana, and third-party private security providers of banks following the increasing security incidents recorded in the sector over the past year. It says this is to protect banking staff, customers, service providers including personnel of the Ghana Police Service, cash and other facilities of banks. The association reiterated its commitment and resolve to work with the national security apparatus and take every measure to ensure the highest level of compliance with industry standards. The association, however, did not state clearly whether the June deadline given by the police would be met. In the meantime, customers have been encouraged to use the available digital banking channels offered by the industry to minimize the use of cash.
Now, in other news, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Amishadai Owusu-Amoah, has announced the implementation of rent tax by end of the year. He noted that a rent tax app will also be designed to track properties whether rented or owner-occupied. According to the Commissioner General, the collection of rent taxes will be made easy with the app as defaulters will be tracked easily.
The Commissioner General of the GRA urged landlords and property owners to do the needful anytime they let out rooms for rent or be charged 125% of the statutory rate compounded monthly if they don't pay before the deadline. He said, quote, "Failure to pay your tax on rent income by the due date will attract an interest of 125% of the statutory rate compounded monthly. Remember to make available copies of all receipts of payment of rent tax for inspection by officers of the Ghana Revenue Authority," unquote. He added that rent tax must be paid within 30 days after the rent income is received by landlords or property owners. In Ghana, there are two rent rates, 8% for residential premises and 15% for non-residential premises. Payment of the rent tax can be made at the nearest domestic tax revenue division office and at all banks.
On the back of the recent appointment of the interim three-member committee by the Minister of Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, to provide within 3 months an administrative oversight until a substantive head is appointed, we've been joined on the line by Duncan Amoah of COPEC to help us critically assess this development. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
All right. Now, TOR and the different government have had to constantly adapt, adjust, and even shut down on most occasions due to debt and many other related structural reasons. What does the sacking of the managing director and his deputy and subsequent appointment mean to the oil sector and also investors who will be looking forward to investing in TOR, probably?
What I can say is that it is a very good first step. We have proposed over the weeks 3 cardinal things that the refinery would need to do. One decouple the unnecessary politicking or political interference from the affairs of the refinery and let it work as an economic concern. 2, ensure that you have a very good management board in place who are simply refinery economics oriented and not there for any games or because we want to serve some people's interest either socially or politically. It should be run as an economic concern that has the potency to contribute to Ghana's economic development. And 3, you would need the adequate and appropriate funding or financing that should be able to modernize both the RFCC, add some new boilers where possible to expand the capacity of the refinery. And so once you have the ministry and government moving in to ensure that management is actually also changed, there's an interim management in place, we can say it is a very good first step. The other 2 bits would also have to be factored in there. The refinery would need some investments in there such that we can be able to bring their operations or refining activities to efficient levels. At present condition where if you took 1 million barrels to process, you end up with 900,000 and sometimes less. The refinery cannot be said to be efficient. And so the necessary investments would have to go in there. But these investments would only yield the needed results when you have a management system in place that is only thinking about the refining economics and what really goes in there is your input and output variance. If you do not have a justifiable reason to process or do whatever, the refinery must be advised. But I do think that what the minister has done yesterday is a good welcoming move. The union members have over the weeks also complained.
Okay.
They work within the refinery. I can put on record that they will know a lot better than most of us from the outside. And so once they were complaining that things were getting bad, you cross-check Ghana Water had also cut water supplies.
Okay.
It tells us how bad the refinery had been run. And so we are happy that the ministry has taken this decision and hope that the 3-member interim management board would work to ensure that the refinery gets back to profitable, efficient ways.
All right. I think point well made there. Thank you, Mr. Amwa, for your time on this issue. We'll be also critically assessing the import of this tall new interim committee and its impact on the sector. Now we'll give you an update on the forex market, how the cedi is performing against major global currencies. That'll be it for business here on NewsBeat. My name is Winston Taki. Back to Phil for the rest of the news and has special info on the sports.
Well, thank you very much, my brother. Up next, we're bringing you the latest in terms of sports right here. Welcome back. My name is Faye John Okote. We bring you news on the Ghana Premier League. And the head coach of Kotoko, Mariano Barreto, has expressed his disappointment on the stage of the playing field at the Daewoo Park after their match against his allies on Monday. According to the Portuguese trainer, the state of the pitch is quite deplorable and that the FA License Committee must take a second look.
I have two players injured, Ganu, so we have to make change because injured. After Evans get another injury, the pitch is not good. I don't understand how this pitch can be approved for league match. And talking this, we win. Not because sometimes when we lose, we say some excuse. No, this field don't have any conditions to play a league match. And I hope the federation and the people who give the permission have to think in the security of the players. Right. It's not only talking and blaming players because they are not doing well. It's difficult with this kind of pitch. The players have a good, they're making a good things.
Let's now focus on the European Championship and World Cup champions. France beat their German counterparts by a goal to nil in the European football opener in Munich. An own goal by Matt Hummels gave away victory to the French team, and their manager Didier Deschamps was pleased with the side's performance.
Of course, we played against a good team of Germany who caused us problems. They had a lot of ball possession, more than us. We were clinical, more clinical than them. We were defending very well. We scored a goal. Would have loved to score the second one to decide them much earlier. It was a match played on a very high level. Two titans facing each other. We could have done things better, especially in ball possession, and especially looking at the attitude to show this dominance, to suffer altogether. And we showed this commitment on the pitch today against a very strong German side, I have to admit.
Didier Deschamps is the man in charge of the French team, speaking after the side beat Germany by a goal to nil yesterday in Munich. Let's go to England now because the FA has released the league fixtures for starting on August 4th on your screens now, with Arsenal travelling all the way to Brentford in the opening match. Chelsea will go to Crystal Palace. We have Manchester United playing against Leeds United. The fixtures starting on the 14th of August throughout England over there. Well, that's it for sports. My name is Feo Jonukorte. Harriet is standing by for the latest in terms of showbiz. Harriet, take over.
Good afternoon. This is NewsBeat on. This is entertainment news on NewsBeat. Now let's move on to some stories after this. Marco Krekumante, Deputy Minister Designate for the Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry, was vetted yesterday. We want to make an assessment of his time before the appointment committee. Joining us via Zoom to discuss this is renowned music producer and entertainment pundit Fred Chey-Mensah, popularly known as Fredima. Good afternoon, sir. Hello, good afternoon, sir. What is your general assessment of Mr. Mante's vetting? Okay, let's move on to the next story on the entertainment news. Dua Lipa ends the reign of Ed Sheeran as UK's most played artist every year since 2017. That's it for entertainment news, but I do apologize for that we not being able to hear Fredima's voice. We are going to follow up on that on Newsnight, so stay tuned for that. My name is Harriet Adi. Over to you, Bright, for international news.
Thank you, Harriet Adi. Coming up next are stories on the international front. On the international front, Ethiopia has rejected an Arab League resolution calling on the United Nations Security Council to intervene in the lingering dispute between Egypt and Sudan and Ethiopia over a massive dam Addis Ababa is building on the Blue Nile. Now, foreign ministers of the 22-member bloc met in the Qatari capital Doha on Tuesday in the latest effort by Cairo and Khartoum to reach an agreement on the filling of the Grand Ethiopian Dam. Now, Ethiopia is pinning its hopes of economic development and power generation on the dam. Egypt relies on the river for as much as 90% of its fresh water and sees the new dam as an existential threat. Sudan is concerned about the operation of its own dams and water stations. It carried out airstrikes in Gaza overnight after Palestinians launched incendiary balloons from the territory in the first major flare-up since an 11-day conflict last month. The Israeli military said it targeted compounds belonging to Hamas, the militant group that controls Gaza. The incendiary balloons sparked 20 fires in southern Israel on Tuesday. Hamas said they were a response to a march by Israeli nationalists in occupied East Jerusalem. There were no casualties on either side, and calm had been restored by Wednesday morning. And that's it for the news here. Quick relook of our top stories. The Inspector General of Police, James Opon-Bueno, responds to critics who, among others, have called for his removal and for a structural reformation of police service following growing insecurity and incidents of violent crimes. Managing editor of the Insight newspaper calls for evidence of correspondence proving Health Minister's justification for purchasing overpriced COVID-19 vaccines. On the occasion to mark Day of the African Child, Ghana, together with other African countries, commit to accelerate the implementation of Agenda 2040 for an Africa fit for children, 30 years after the adoption of the Charter. In business, Minister for Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoko-Prempeh, swears in a 3-member interim management committee to oversee the affairs of the Tema Oil Refinery following the removal of its managing director and his deputy. News from elsewhere, Ethiopia rejects an Arab League resolution calling on the United Nations Security Council to intervene in a lingering dispute between Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia over a massive dam Addis Ababa is building on the Blue Nile. And that's it for the news here on Metro TV. But remember, at exactly 2 p.m. Francisca Forsen will be on Good Afternoon Ghana. A conversation on rise in crime. Is Ghana's security in limbo? Question being asked. And the guest for today is ASP Godwin Ahianyo, PRO Ashanti Regional Police Command, Superintendent Sheila Abeyi Bachman, Director of Public Affairs Ghana Police Service, and also Adam Bona, Security Analyst, here at 2 p.m. on Metro TV. And also at 9 p.m., Gabriel Obudai Togba will come away with Community Watch, a look at what is happening in Isawam. I am Bryce and Akwesi Amani. Thanks for watching. Have a good afternoon.